Money is something you trade your life energy for. There are 9 steps in the book that offers a blueprint to break free from the rat race and craft a life that you've always dreamed of. In this book, you're going to be challenged to redefine your relationship with money. Imagine standing at a crossroad where one path leads to endless toil and financial uncertainty, and the other path leads to a life of freedom and financial independence. This is the very essence of Your Money or Your Life by Vicki Robin and Joe Dominguez. In this book, you are going to be challenged to redefine your relationship with money. Many people around the world regard this book as the most influential personal finance book ever written, and I don't blame them for that. There are 9 steps in the book that offers a blueprint to break free from the rat race and craft a life that you've always dreamed of. There is a quote from the book that really captures the essence of the message that Vicki is trying to share. Money is something you trade your life energy for. You sell your time for money. It doesn't matter that Ned over there sells his time for $100 and you sell yours for $20 an hour. Ned's money is irrelevant to you. The only real asset you have is your time, the hours of your life. So rather than think about the amounts you want to spend, instead, think about how much of your life you spent to earn that money you're currently spending or you're about to spend. Like I said earlier, there are 9 steps shared in the book, and these steps actually build on each other. So let's get right into it. Step 1. Make peace with the past. This step increases your awareness of your past actions and decisions. The truth is, you really can't move forward if you don't make peace with the past, and that's why this step is very, very important. There are 2 areas of our past that we want to be aware of, that we want to make peace with. The first area is how much have you earned. The goal here is to find out as much as you can about how much you've earned in your lifetime up until this point. And the trick here isn't to be picture perfect, but to have a very close picture of the total sum that you've earned from your first paycheck till your most recent paycheck. And I believe that this is a powerful step. And honestly, before I read this book, it is something I've never heard before, and it's something I've never done personally. But doing it gives you a picture of how much you've brought into your life, and just shows you how powerful you are at bringing money into your life. And just like me, this step would actually boost your confidence and show you that you really have the ability to earn a lot more even in the future. So the first thing you need to be aware of about the past is how much you've earned, how much you've brought in. The second is your net worth. For most people, this activity will basically bring them down to earth. And what do I mean by that? In the last activity, we just calculated how much you've brought in as a whole in your lifetime. And now you're now calculating your net worth. And for many people, there is going to be a big disconnect between how much you've brought in and how much your net worth is at the present. Vicki has a message for you, and that message is no shame, no blame. Don't beat yourself down. The fact that you're watching this video means you want to do better with your finance. So that's a plus to you. Just keep moving, learn the lessons, and move forward. And that's step 1. Step 2 is tracking your life energy. In this step, Vicki wants you to know how much of your life you're trading to maintain your job. Yes, your job. And you do this by calculating your real hourly wage. To get your real hourly wage, you have to deduct every cost that you've incurred as a result of trying to fulfill your job from your hourly wage, and then you add the hours that you have incurred, you've added to you in order to fulfill your job also to the number of hours. So what do I mean by that? Let's say I earn £25 an hour on a 40-hour work week, but to do my job I need to commute to and fro to the office for 7 hours 30 minutes every week, and also I have to buy fuel if I'm driving. I need to maintain my car, all of the costs associated with that. You need to think about costumes, your clothes, meals, vacation because I'm stressed on the job, all the extra time spent because of the job is added to the 40 hours, and all the extra expense is subtracted from the £25 an hour for what that would be for the week. Then you divide the new reduced weekly income by the newly increased weekly hours to get your real hourly wage. Calculating your hourly wage is an eye-opener, to be honest, and it's a good way to even determine which job is actually worth it. Because come to think of it, you get a job that has all the big titles, but you're spending a lot going to the office and back, and there is a lot of expenses associated with that job. It might just be better to pick a lower paying job on paper, but let's say you don't have to spend so much. In this day of work from home and hybrid, that could be something that you could look into. You could end up having a higher real hourly wage as a result of picking a lower job on paper. The third step is to do your monthly calculation. This can also be called budgeting. I know, the dirty B word, but think of budgeting this way. Budgeting is planning your finances. Budgeting is not looking at the past, looking at what you've done. It's looking into the future and determining how you're going to spend your future income. It's a plan. Budget is actually a plan. And the fact is that the type of expenses I would incur will be different from the kind of expense that you would incur, because what's important to me at this stage of my life will be very different from you. A big example is I'm a Nigerian and I love my plantain, so that's going to be my budget every month. I just have to get that. But in addition to just creating a budget, Vicky also encourages us to convert our expenses to hours of our life energy. And what does that mean? Let's say that my real hourly wage is £10 an hour and I have to work for 40 hours, so that's £400 in a week. If I have to pay rent of £200 every week, that means I'm spending 20 hours of my life every week in order to pay for my rent. That's the kind of thinking that would help us rethink many of our decisions, especially when it comes to big ticket items. The fourth step involves asking 3 questions. You ask these 3 questions against every expense you make. Or an easier way would be to ask these questions against your expense category. So you're building from the last step. And what are these questions? The first question, ask yourself, did I receive fulfillment, satisfaction, and value in proportion to the life energy I spent in this category? Did this expenditure, this is the second question, of life energy, did it align with my values and life purpose? And the third question is, how might this expenditure change if I don't have to work for a living? And to answer this question, you have to mark each answer with one of 3 signs. If you mark that answer with a minus, it means that you did not receive fulfillment proportional to the hours of your life energy that you expended there. And if you marked it with a plus, you believe that these expenses would increase your fulfillment. And if you mark with a 0, it means that this category is just fine on all counts. There is no positive or negative. I believe that this exercise is very brilliant, and it's one of the core, in my opinion, of the book, because this question brings together your earnings, your values, your expenses, your purpose, your sense of fulfillment. It brings all of that together, and it brings it in one word that I'll call, it makes you conscious of your expenses. If you're getting value, please like and subscribe. This tells YouTube that you're actually getting value, and it helps the channel reach more people. Thank you. Step 5 is making your life energy visible. The idea here is to track your finance, but not just to track it openly. Maybe you put it in a wall in your room or in your office. You're tracking the trend as regards to your monthly income and your expense. And the goal here is to give you a sense of progress, hopefully. As you see your income go up over time, increase over time, and your expenses reduce or remain the same, or maybe not just grow as fast as your income. These are the best possible scenarios when it comes to tracking your expense and your income. The 6th step is to minimize spending. Remember, we are not just spending money here, we are practically spending our life energy. The next step after this kind of realization is to spend intentionally. We need to be intentional with our expense, and this means getting to the point where we are making progress with our finances. There is a quote from the book that captures this perfectly. The key is remembering that anything you buy and don't use, anything you throw away, anything you consume and don't enjoy is money down the drain. You're wasting your life energy. You're wasting the finite resources of the planet. Any waste of your life energy means more hours lost to the rat race. You're actually making a dime. Frugality is user-friendly and earth-friendly lifestyle. The seventh step is maximizing your income. It's important to know that fulfillment as human beings does not lie in our job, but in the whole picture of our lives. And that message is what Vicky is trying to share here. Think about it. If money equals life energy, then by increasing our income, in extension, our real hourly wage, we are actually increasing the amount of life that is available to us. So don't just think about increasing your income, but think about increasing your real hourly wage. The eighth step is the crossover point. This means that you can see the possibility of financial independence. The idea that you can leave paid employment a lot sooner. That's the dream. You achieve this by investing in the now growing gap between your income and your expenses. And where do we invest our money? Vicky recommends that we invest in index funds. And if you know us on this channel, you know that that's what we preach most people should do. And we have a playlist and a video in the description that guides you step by step how to do this. You get to the crossover point when the income from your net worth and your investments can actually pay off all your expenses. This quote explains the idea of getting to the crossover point. Choice is the true heart of financial independence. It's not about money. It's about the choice of where you direct your most precious resource, which is your time, your attention, and ultimately your life. Step 9. Where do I stash my cash for long-term financial freedom? It is very important to take advantage of any tax savings that is available to you, either in your place of employment or in the country that you live. For example, here in the UK, that would mean I would invest in an ISA and I would maximize my pension. For those in the US, it would mean that you would invest in the Roth IRA, while for those in Canada, that will be investing in the TFSA. We also have in the description everything you need to know about ISAs for those in the UK. In conclusion, Your Money or Your Life is a comprehensive guide to personal finance that encourages you and me to think about money in a more holistic and meaningful way, and to make choices that lead to financial independence and a fulfilling life. I hope you enjoyed this summary. If you did, kindly share this video and don't keep it to yourself.